Hi, my name is Dan. How are you doing today? In this video, we will be working on programming a new key for a Land Rover LR4. By that I mean both the key fob and the emergency key. I do not have all the answers here. There are several variables and I just don't have all the answers, so I'm going to give you the information to the best of my knowledge and I'll tell you what I did. One of the really important things to know is that if the battery in your key fob goes dead, you can still get into the vehicle and you can still start it. Of course, you'll need a working emergency key and you'll need a key fob. And the reason I bring that up is if you're buying a really cheap, $30 key fob online, I don't know if that's going to work. This is an OEM key fob. I know it works. So sourcing your key fobs, as painfully cost expensive as that might be, might make a real difference. So in the manual for your IID tool, it clearly states in no uncertain terms, do not buy cheap key fobs because they cannot guarantee that they will program correctly. So they would probably like you to buy an OEM key fob at $320 to $420 and then go ahead and program it. So it's still going to be an expensive proposition. Now, one of the things that's also in the manual for the IID tool is they claim that when you reprogram a key fob, it will not start the vehicle when the battery in the key fob is dead. Maybe they're just saying that to cover themselves. I know that for a fact that I used my IID tool to program an OEM key fob, and it does indeed start the vehicle when the battery is dead. So I have a 100% functionality. So that's cool. Option number one is simply to go to the dealership. They will sell you an OEM key fob, and that will contain the emergency key. They'll program it up, they'll cut the key, and away you go. The trick is that's expensive. Now, what you need to know about these key fobs, when I look at the parts lists online at Rover, there are 3 different part numbers for these things, and they appear to be matched to the VIN numbers. So you have to get the right one of these for your VIN number. Of course, Rover will handle that for you. The prices on those are between $320 and $420 as I record this in May of 2023. That's just for the hardware. Then there's the key cutting and the programming. I do not know how much that might cost, but I can easily see that running another couple hundred. So doing the whole project at a Land Rover dealership might be $600 plus. The second option might be to go to your local locksmiths. And by that, I mean a real locksmiths, not the big box stores. They don't know what's going on. I just came back from my local locksmith and I talked to them. They'll sell you a key fob. They claim it's OEM. It sure looks OEM, but they were unaware of the VIN number match to the key fobs. That might be a problem. Then they'll cut this up. They claim they can program this and they say it'll work. However, they were unaware of the fact that this can start the truck when the battery is dead. So I can show you, and I will show you how to test that. So whether or not you want to take that option with people who really don't quite know what's going on, up to you. The least expensive way to do this project is to get one of these key fobs for free. In my particular instance, I purchased Red Rover used, and they only gave me one key, and I insisted that there be two. So this key fob is actually one they had laying around in the dealership. It was for somebody else's truck. They sent it to me, and I reprogrammed it, and it's perfect. So get one of these as inexpensively, or maybe even free at your local dealership if you can. You can buy these blanks. The vendor that I used and the prices are in the parts list. And then you can go ahead and you can have this blank cut at your local locksmith's shop. Now, I was not happy with the amount they charged me. They charged me $35 plus tax to cut this key. I wasn't real happy, but there really is no other option. So my total cost was $35 plus tax, plus a couple of blanks to get the project done. So I was less than 50 bucks, which is way cool. Okay, so the very first time I attempted to use my ID tool to reprogram that new key, the operation failed. And when you get that, you go take a look at the manual online, and it will say to contact them. I did that. They wrote me a little new subroutine based on my vehicle. They sent it to me the next day, and away we go. So I'm going to show you now the screen capture from when I reprogrammed that key, and it was 100% successful. Good morning. How are you today? Let's go ahead and try and reprogram our key. And as we've discussed, this key is a previously used key that I obtained from Rover, and I have put a new battery in it. I have the current key, the original key, and I have this new key we're trying to reprogram. We are in the vehicle. It is running. So now we have our IID tool hooked up. Now we do search for tool down here at the bottom. We do ECU flash, add a key. And I have not done this before, so we have to see this together. In this next little bit, I will show you starting the vehicle with that new key fob we just reprogrammed. I've taken the battery out, and so we are validating that it will start the vehicle even when the battery is dead. And it does do that, so this key fob is 100% functional. I've taken the battery out, and I'll put that down here on the seat, and put our foot on the brake, and we'll try and start it. And obviously without a battery, we will get the smart key not found error. Now what it says in the owner's manual, and the owner's manual you can find in your glove box, is if we come over here, I'll try and show this to you. Down here, see where those three little lines are? You hold the key fob up, button side out. Because this takes more hands than I have, the phone is up against the steering wheel, so sorry for the blank screen. But we take the key fob and we will hold it up in that location, and we'll give it a try, see if we can start. It is a bit futzy on the location. There we go, second try, and away we go. If it doesn't start the first time, just move it around a little bit. Okay, so here we are in the garage, and over there's Red Rover, and over here in front of us is the big beige Bomber. And I'm putting this in here because it's poorly explained in the manuals. And if you've never done this, you're gonna have a hard time doing this in the middle of winter when it's 40 below and all the batteries are dead. So here's the emergency key, okay? And this is your door handle on the left-hand side of the vehicle. So in the US, that's the driver's side. Overseas, that's the passenger side, but it's always the left-hand side of the vehicle, which is interesting. There's a slot down here. And it even has a little key thing. The emergency key goes in, not the orientation, and it goes in pretty far. If you've never done this before, this is going to be exquisitely stiff and hard to do. Now you turn this just a little bit to the right, and you can see that'll release. Sorry for bumping around. And then it pops out. I put part numbers for this plastic bit in the parts list. If you do this right, you'll never need one. But if you don't do it right, you're in trouble. So there's the key, and you can see what's happening is it's twisting and it's moving those two white little plastic tabs. So if you're doing that in the middle of winter, you're probably going to shatter those tabs to get that off. And as you know on the parts list, this is not inexpensive. Then of course the key just goes in there and use it like any other key. Okay, that's a whole lot more detail than you ever wanted to know about your key fobs. I hope you find the detail useful. I hope you can score a key fob for free, because otherwise it's going to be expensive. Good luck when you do this project.